And Phil, you and I had this conversation last night. It's like, how come we haven't been doing this? But
the limitation that kind of starts and stops at the very beginning is our own brains not being open to like all the ways it could make things faster, whether it's like email responses faster, writing your first draft. Like, it's a lot easier to update a draft that's already written than to write the first draft. To create, you have an idea, and to have your thoughts get organized into a concise format, chronological format, whatever. There's all these like really basic early things that you can do. And then once you start playing with that, you start to realize, oh, it can do this, oh, it can do that. And then all of a sudden there's like this kind of moment where you realize it can do about 10 million things that I would not have been able to creatively come up with in the beginning. But now that I'm engaged in it, it's opened up your eyes. And I think that for everybody in that space, it's really like what changed the game for me was the ability to talk to it and like data dump as I was going along, and, be in the middle of a day and just dump ideas in, and then have those things be organized on the back end of the day and go, okay, it's all organized, as opposed to, like, let me sit down and summarize my day type of deal on paper. So to me, there's a lot of stuff that I think we all have to kind of just start engaging with it, like we were doing with Buzz. But I also think companies have to figure out how they're going to use it. And I think that's the place that's also really an interesting component, because there's so much fear. And a lot of times it's human fear that kind of stands in the way of our ability to use it from a company perspective, protecting data, protecting. And so I think that's on a whole nother level of complexity. I watched some segments recently talking about, essentially all the good things that can come from it, as well as the end of the world, projections of like how AI could turn on us. And it's kind of interesting when you realize like we're living in that time right now, like that, whatever future is going to unfold in that, like we're actually in the middle of it because it's happening all around us.
I think right now, just because it is almost mid-November, the most applicable way to use it right now is your business planning.
Business planning, yeah.
Because if you tell it details about you, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you struggle with, what your end goal is, what you're about, it is amazing what it will come up with. It's crazy. So like even what your revenue goals are for the year, it breaks it down monthly. It breaks down to activities, everything. So the more you put into that prompt, the more detailed it will be. And that's a major deal. Business planning is hard. And, you got to have your SMART goals. So you throw that in there. I want SMART goals. It just dials it in seconds.
And what are you using for that? ChatGPT?
Yeah, I use chat. And, corporations are now integrating AI in
Copilot.
I have Copilot on my Outlook. So that's great, because then you transpose a follow-up email, you put it in there, they make it clean and tight. And that's how I use it a lot every day.
Yep.
And then on my social media posts, just to do my captions, at least like you said, I don't use it. I clean it up, though, after they do it.
So go back to autopilot or Copilot?
Copilot.
Same thing.
That's an
Copilot, whatever. So that's an AI platform?
Built into Windows, right?
Yep. And so you're in your Outlook, you can just copy paste and it can change it, and then you put it back.
So it's something that's already on my computer.
It could be. I don't.
Ours
know.
is not rolled out. I don't think, but
could.
your company can roll it out. Yeah, it's
Ours
built
is in there.
Oh, there you go.
And
you didn't know that, Buzz?
I didn't know that.
Well, and that's the other thing though, is we need training on how to use it. We need to know it's there, and then we need to know in what use cases it's best to utilize the tool. I think sometimes things are just there and no one knows, and unless you hear from someone else. So I don't know. I think that's important too.
Sales presentations. If you had a sales presentation with whoever and you wanted to tell them more about, you can actually ask chat about you. Tell me about her. Tell me, is she this? Is she that? What is her strengths? What is her weaknesses? It will tell me everything about you before I walk into that appointment.
Oh, interesting.
It does some pretty cool. I mean, just you can add once you have it set up, like take business planning, you can set it up with an integration and then have it create your business plan PowerPoint. You can have it create a PowerPoint from what you've created. So you could tell, hey, these are my 5 goals. I want to get the breakdowns of these 5 goals. And then you consolidate it and go, all right, now I want you to create a PowerPoint. And then it asks you a bunch of questions. You can upload your branding, your company information, whatever you want, and then it will create your PowerPoint, and you can do a whole bunch further from there. But just in terms of efficiency and speed, to be able to have that output and not sit down and get lost in the weeds.